collect his fee, and didn't care a whit for her son. "Then we have a problem, sir, for I don't trust you at all," she'd said, then called for the butler to dispatch the good doctor. When she'd complained of his demeanour later that evening, her husband had chastised her for being disrespectful to the doctor. Nevertheless, Daisy refused to believe the man's prediction of Ellis's future. Frankly, her son's health was the second reason Daisy had undertaken what had become an increasingly dangerous journey north. Robert was the first reason. If Robert had only reached her in time, this travel might well have been avoided. She mindlessly touched his letter, kept safe in the pocket of her gown. "I will come with great haste as soon as my commission has ended," he'd written her. But not soon enough, as it turned out. "If they don't find us now, they'll surely find us at this lodge," Belinda warned, settling back against the squabs, still intent on worrying them all. "We are perfectly safe," Daisy said, and tried to convey a warning to her cousin with her expression, which, naturally, Belinda did not notice. Daisy smiled and squeezed Ellis's knee. "Pay Cousin Belinda no mind, darling. It's been a trying day for us all. I am not unreasonable in my concern," Belinda said. "We were all of us frightened by those dangerous men." "Need I remind you that those dangerous men offered to repair our wheel?" Daisy asked, then impulsively covered Ellis's ears with her hands and leaned forward, whispering, "Forget that now, darling. Did you not see the gentleman? He was so alluring." Belinda blinked. "The Scotsman? Alluring? Daisy!" she gasped, clearly appalled. "What is the matter with you? Scotsmen are not alluring. They are traitors to the crown." Were she not so exhausted, Daisy would have argued that Belinda was not acquainted with any Scotsmen, and therefore couldn't know if they were all or any of them Jacobites. Instead, she was disappointed that Belinda had not noticed the man's allure. She could not share in the observation of how a man with his extraordinary presence could be found on an abandoned road in what seemed the most remote region of the earth. With a sigh, she let go of Ellis's ears and turned her gaze to the grimy window as Belinda began to speculate if they would be forced to camp on the road tonight. He'd been so utterly unexpected. Daisy flushed again, thinking about the Scotsman. Oh, but she was a hopeless cause, quite possibly even mad. She shuddered to think how foolishly beguiled she'd been, particularly in the face of what could have been terrible danger. She'd long been an admirer of healthy men, but this bordered on lunacy. And yet, she hoped she might see him again one day. She would very much like to make him smile, to see the light she was certain could be coaxed from those blue eyes under the right circumstances. She quivered a little, imagining just how she might. Oh yes, she was mad. Completely and utterly mad. This tendency to fantasy was something that had been slowly building in Daisy since her husband's death more than 2 years ago. She'd since dabbled liberally in the art of flirtation in salons across Mayfair, had imagined any number of handsome gentlemen in varying degrees of compromise, so much so that now that tendency often felt impossible to control. The truth was that Daisy very much missed a man's touch. Her husband, Clive, had been robust when her marriage was arranged, but he'd contracted a wasting illness soon after Ellis's birth. In the last years of his life, he'd suffered gravely, too sick to be a father, too sick to care for her as a husband ought. Now, at 9 and 20, Daisy felt desire flowing in the vast physical wasteland of her life like a river that had overrun its banks. Her steady stream of suitors since Clive's death were the raging storm waters that fed that river. But the Scotsman was not a suitor, and she thought of him in an entirely